Hey, this is Brent with Lykins Motorsports. This is our Coyote engine, and I think I've got about everything that I need to check piston and valve clearance and degree the cams. So sure as the world I say that, then I'll get going and find something that I missed. But if you remember, I've got crank is in, our rear main seal plate is in, got numbers 1 and 6 pistons in there, and what we're going to do is for right now we're going to concentrate on this bank. I'm going to get my Coyote head gaskets haven't showed up yet. The pistons are down about 12 thousandths, and our head gaskets are, I think, 27. So that'll give us a cold piston head clearance of 39 thousandths. I'm not gonna, since I don't have the head gaskets, I'm obviously not gonna put them on, but that's okay. They don't need to be on here since the pistons come up way below deck height at top dead center. So we'll just get a head set on here and a couple of head bolts in there, and we'll do it that way. Before I do anything though, I'm going to get some clay on our valve reliefs. And so let's go over this in our heads here. So we're going to do the driver's side head first, because the primary chain that's closest to the front face of the block is the driver's side. This chain goes up, attaches to the exhaust cam on the driver's side, and then there's a secondary chain that connects the intake cam and the exhaust cam on the driver's side. So we'll do that head and those two cams first, check piston to valve clearance, degree the cams, and then we'll do the passenger side later. So we'll concentrate on the driver's side first. Go ahead and get some clay on our pistons, and then we'll set our head on and get a couple bolts in it. I've got clay, just gonna do one intake valve relief and one exhaust valve relief. Then we'll get everything out of the way and get our head on. For the for the driver's side head, we want the keyway to be at the 9 o'clock position. So right about there. That's kind of, these engines are, from what I understand, now, again, I will say this is my very first Coyote build. And I am pretty much green, but from what I understand, the 9 o'clock position for the driver's side and the 12 o'clock position for the passenger side ensures that the piston's going to be far enough down that there will be no piston to valve clearance issues when we bolt the cams on and that sort of thing. So these are an interference engine, and so now we'll get our driver's side head bolted on. I'm gonna go ahead and lay my humongously long head bolts on there so I can just set the head up here, and then we can get that bolted down temporarily. All right, we can't do that yet, and I'll blame that on you guys, because you didn't tell me that I couldn't. But I had to pull that head back off just because I remembered no degree wheel. We haven't found true top dead center, This is just a whole new experience for me. So I am kind of out of sorts on what's going on. I need to get back to my roots and concentrate on what I'm doing. So there's a couple things that's gonna have to happen right here. We're gonna have to find true top dead center, but before that, I need to gut my oil pump because we're not going to be using a regular oil pump. We're going to be using an external wet sump pump, but I still have to have the fasteners for the timing chain guides. So the oil pump will serve as basically a spacer for the timing chain guides. We've got brand new, if I know what I did with them, got brand new fasteners for that, and those, that smooth side on there is what the guides sit on. So oil pump needs to come apart. It needs to be gutted. Oil pump needs to go on. Oil pump fasteners need to go on. And then we can find true top dead center for number 6. Okay, so there were 2 gears in here made differently than an FE or Cleveland or Windsor pump. A little flake of aluminum there. So again, the reason why we're doing this, we are not using this pump to provide us with oil pressure. We're going to be using an external wet sump pump. So the only thing that this pump is going to be providing is a mounting surface for our timing chain guides. And I should have sat down and thought this through a little bit more. I guess I could have made some spacers to basically serve the same purpose, but in the event that I ever decide to pull the wet sump pump off of the engine, I can throw the guts back into this pump and roll with it. Next is our gear, and this is a billet gear. Sorry, didn't know that I wasn't pointing the camera. It was supposed to point the camera at. Billet gear, just for extra strength there. And then we can get our crank turning socket. These things are really handy. I have one for pretty much every engine family. And I had this one from a modular Ford that I did a short block for a little while back. It also serves, I don't know why that nut is on there so tight. You back this nut off, I'm gonna have to use 2 hands. And this is your degree wheel mounting spot. Part of messing with a new engine is just trying to find fasteners to do all this junk with. So aluminum blocks pose their own problem. Obviously a magnetic base will not hook to them, so you have to get some kind of a steel plate, bolt to somewhere on the block so you can use your magnetic base. I did a rough zero with a dial indicator bridge across the piston, found pretty close top dead center. But now I have to use a piston stop and dial in our top dead center. The only issue is, you know, your piston stop usually goes or here. The head bolt fasteners for these blocks are so far down that it's hard to find a fastener to get down there to it. So you think, oh, well, you can use a head bolt. Well, you can, but they're stinking 9 inches long. So, you know, if I use something like this, I might have to find some sockets or some spacers or something like that to make up this difference, so I can put my piston stop there. If I end up doing more of these down the road, I'll have to make some tools. This is something that, it's like growing pains. You know, you start with a specific engine family and you have to learn all the nuances of it. You know, FE stuff, I have every tool that you can imagine to work with and that sort of thing. But here we're just gonna have to compromise. Okay, we won't talk about those stacks of sockets. No, we didn't see those over there that I'm using for spacers. I'll find true top dead center using our piston stop. And we'll see if it touches. And I'm sorry, you can't see this, but it touches. I've got this, it's screwed down touching the dome. Just want to make sure. So we are at 28.5 degrees. So I'm gonna go all the way back around until it touches. And we are at 28.5 degrees. So we are at top dead center. I nailed it the first time using the deck bridge. You generally don't want to rely on that, but sometimes it does what it needs to do. So now we can get all this garb off here and get our cylinder head mounted. Driver's side head is mounted. Just kind of lose the reality of how large these engines are, and it's all cylinder head. Deck height on these is 8937, I think. Don't quote me on that. But the head is just stinking tall. So I've got head bolt here, head bolt here. We're working on number 6 cylinder. We're going to check this intake valve. We're going to check this exhaust valve. I have, let's see here. I've got a solid lash adjuster for this and a solid lash adjuster for this. If you use a hydraulic adjuster, you will lose track of where you are, because the spring load and everything else will push the oil out of that lash adjuster, or out of that hydraulic lash adjuster, and you will not get accurate results. So best to buy 2 solid adjustable lash adjusters. So we'll get those in here. Then we'll get our follower on each one, and then we can set our cams in. Here is a solid lash adjuster. So it's got a set screw in it, accessible through the top. So when I set this in here, set our follower on it, set our cam on it, I can adjust this in and out to take up 0. We want 0 lash. So we got one in, got these oiled up so they're lubricated. Got that one in. Here is our follower. Then our other follower. Stay, baby. All right, I may have to put that once the cams are in. So let's see what we need to do here. I guess put the cams in and get those situated. I've got ARP fasteners for the cam caps, so we'll get those in. This is taking me pretty long time just because I'm not familiar with it. All right, so I'm gonna put some assembly lube on the head. This is all so odd. Then we'll get our cam set in. So this is the left exhaust cam. We want, I don't know if you can see it, but we want that follower to be on the base circle of the cam. This is just like setting lash. So there's the base circle, and we're going to have to raise our follower up with our adjustable lash adjuster until that touches and takes the lash out of it. Okay, I'm gonna get you in here close. This is a better view. So we have 0 lash, and that's on the base circle of the cam. There's no lash, and it's not opening the valve. So that's exactly where we want it. Okay, we got our intake cam on. So these notches are where the cam positions need to be for when you put your cam gears on. In relation to the flat surface of the cylinder head, this notch needs to point straight down. This one goes at like 10 o'clock or so. So go ahead and we're gonna lube up our journals where they fit, the cam caps fit, and then we're gonna get those on. When I took these heads apart, I stamped where everything goes. I took pictures so I can get those back on. We got some ARP cam tower bolts, and we'll get all of this laid out here. Okay, all of our ARP fasteners are in. I got turn these very easily, so we're in good shape there. Need to park the cams where they need to be parked, and then we'll get we need our secondary tensioner to go in, and then we need to put our well, I'm not using phasers, so phaser deletes and the gears with the secondary chain on it. Secondary chain tensioner, this works off of oil pressure. This lip goes towards the front. Here's your grenade pin when you get ready. So here are the cam gears. Normally your phaser goes on here to adjust the cam timing. This is the exhaust gear, secondary chain, primary chain. Here is what a brand new intake cam phaser looks like. So all this works off of hydraulic pressure. But you got to take all of this apart, and here is the MMR Modular Mustang Racing. This would mount, after all this comes apart, this mounts to there. That allows you to advance or retard your cam timing. So you basically have to degree 4 camshafts when you do these. So a little daunting if you've never done it before. And I just keep telling myself it's like doing in the block cam setup 4 times. So we'll just see how all that goes. I got to take all of these out, take this cam phaser apart. You don't use the guts, you just use the gear and the MMR stuff. Got all of our bolts out. This is the intake phaser. Let me see if I can get this apart one-handed. And you see all the guts just basically fall out of it, which is awesome. So, don't need that. Well, unfortunately, after I started swapping over phaser delete kits and that sort of thing, I found out that the parts that I got were not correct. So this is how things should fit. This is the exhaust phaser. It's a factory one. It's got the phaser on it. I haven't disassembled it yet, but it should slide on to the cam very easily like that. There's actually a lug that engages. There it goes. So the exhaust cams fit fine. The intake cam, or the intake phaser, it won't even begin to start on there. It's a different size. Apparently it is a maybe a Gen 1 phaser. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I called Modular Mustang Racing. I respect anything that they say. They do more modular Fords than probably anybody. And he said that they this kit that I've got that includes all 4 cam phasers, that they've been getting some mix matches lately. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to do some searching and swap out. So we're not going to get to degree any cams or check piston valve clearance this week. Well, I guess we got a little bit down the road with our Coyote, but not very far. I'm debating on whether to just put you on hold until I get more parts in, or go ahead and post this video up. I don't know if there's any benefit to this or not, but maybe I will. I don't know. So, in the event that I decide to go ahead and post this video, thanks for watching. And thanks for subscribing, and thanks for all your comments. Hope you guys are having a good week. I'm going to bag this puppy up, scoot it back out of the way, and jump back over to another engine. So, hope you guys are doing well. I will talk to you soon.